Hi, having finished my Roman Dwarf army, to debut it I wanted to do a sort of a battle report. Unfortunately, my legion is akin to some of the legions that had to fight Hannibal. They were hastily built and defeated very quickly. To test out the army the way I wanted to, I needed to field about 6,000 points. Ted agreed to play an Orcy army that was also 6,000 points. Here you see the orc chariots and the trolls. Trolls are one of my favorite orc army troops. And here you see squig hoppers and also a goblin unit. Squig hoppers were the MVP of the game this time through. Very hard to beat. And here we have two sets of wolf riders. The Orcy heroes. Black orcs and savage orcs. Orcys and war machines, spiders, wyvern, and giant. Here are my 3 centuries of Roman dwarves. There's 80 in each century. Roman centuries were of about 80 troops in each one when they were at full strength. Most of the miniatures are black tree miniatures. However, the bigger ones are from Dwarf Wars. Here are my archers, which I use as quarrelers. Most of these are old Citadel miniatures. In the game I didn't use them all. I used 2 units of 13 each. These are my iron drakes, which I call either iron ducks or sinking ducks when I'm talking about them. Now, these weapons are basically flamethrowers. So you ask yourself, well, how can I have flamethrowers in a Roman army? Well, I don't have any gunpowder weapons. However, if you look at these weapons, they are exactly designed to look like the Greek fire weapons that were being used as early as like 600 AD. So Games Workshop copied Greek fire weapons so I can easily get away with these in my army. Due to point constraints, I could only put out 1 unit of about 13. I keep my units in like 13s and 17s to get that bump just above the 25% needed to cause the unit to roll for breaking. For the fun of it, I brought a Demon Slayer and some Giant Slayers. It was a mistake. I should have just left the Slayers at home and got more magic. There just wasn't enough to do anything with, and I needed more protection against magic in this game. Here are my heroes in general. I forgot my battle standard and the Demon Slayer in this picture. War machines. This is the Steel Century. They're rangers. The reason I wanted to use the rangers is they have throwing axes, which I thought would be good to simulate pila, which are the spears that the Romans used to use to throw before they went into combat. This is Century Rubicon, which is my Longbeards, where I put my BSB and was supposed to be the center of my line. This is the Andes Century, which are just dwarf warriors. I went ahead and named these 3 centuries after different YouTubers that I really like. Unfortunately, I shouldn't have, considering how badly I did with my troops. This is what my line looked like after the initial placement. What happened is, you can't see it here, in the bottom of the screen, Ted put up his squig hoppers, and I knew that I was really in trouble. I was going to lose all my war machines. So I used my rangers, their scouting ability, to move them over there to try and counter those squig hoppers. Here's my right flank. On the left you can see the warriors and then the Longbeards, and then right in that open space is where those rangers are really supposed to be. And here's my left flank with the rangers up front, and most of my ballistic stuff stuck out here, vulnerable to those squig hoppers. Here's that void space that is my right flank that I'm already in trouble with. All the orky stuff that's headed to that void space just could wrap up my line. Here's the orc middle. And this is a disaster that basically cleaned my clock. Those 40 squig hoppers that I tried to adjust to counter. And here's the full table after everything is set up. If I remember right, the orcs got to move first. I pretty much botched this game, so I'm not going to go through all the turns. I just kind of wanted to show the pictures because they're cool, and so I'll just give some of the highlights. On my turn, I needed to get those rangers to hit that squig hopper unit. Anything else was going to end in disaster, and I needed to roll a 7, and I failed to roll a 7, and basically that pretty much ends the game. Here I'm getting hit by the Savage Orcs and the Squig Hoppers. I pretty much came out equal against the Squig Hoppers, but then those Orcs pushed it over the edge, and I get beaten up and ran down, and the Squig Hoppers go off the table for it. So basically, this left flank is pretty much squished at this point. I haven't enough time to use my war machines to knock out most of his stuff, because it's just going bad so quickly. On the right flank, Ted uses a spell to keep me from adjusting that Longbeard unit. So essentially, he gets to charge it. He tries to charge it with a unit and several different chariots and a spider. On my standard, I had the rune of slowness to the 2nd level. So his unit failed to hit me, and one of the spiders failed to hit me. However, getting hit in the side with a spider and getting hit with a chariot and something else, I thought it was going to come out okay and win that one, but the dice went bad and I failed, and I think he ran down the unit. But we pretty much gave up the game at that point. It was a fun game. I really enjoy the large games like this. I'm going to switch down and do some small games that I can actually do a good battle report on. Thank you for watching.